you doing, everyone? You good? All right. Yeah, there you go, a wee bit of energy. But I'm Nigel. Thanks for the introduction, by the way. I live out in LA, but I am from Ireland, that's why I sound like this. But it's not a good excuse for how I look. Nothing particularly Irish about it. Well, these are kind of Irish green, I don't know. But basically, what I'm here to talk to you today about is what is the future of content with 5G? Like, what is this ethereal thing that you keep hearing, 5G, 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 and actually how does it meaningfully impact content? So, again, a wee bit about me. I do come from a traditional animation background. This is the one time, by the way, you'll see me not in color. But generally, this is a wee sample of all the kind of projects that I've worked on. And one thing that I kind of wanted to talk through is, you know, all of that content, there was something as a creator and as a filmmaker that I always wanted to kind of get out of the way, and that was how technology basically gets in the way of creating good content. And something that I've been really excited about, and kind of the reason why I left DreamWorks to jump to Verizon was because of this 5G evolution that we're about to see. So just a quick kind of overview of, you know, Verizon as a brand. I don't know if you're very familiar, but you know, all these companies basically started gobbling up each other. Verizon bought AOL and Yahoo, merged them together, created this wee cocktail called Verizon Media, which has this kind of reach that you see here. But where we sit in terms of what RYOT is doing is, I'll show you kind of this wee demo reel here. So if it'll play. There you go. Yeah, so just a wee sampling of the work we've been up to at RYOT and Verizon. So basically, the main thing I kind of want you to get from today's talk is the most boring of most text-heavy slide. But it's fundamentally how 5G, how I personally and how Verizon totally views how this is going to change how we do content. Leveraging everything from mobile edge compute, high throughput, low latency. So. And I don't mean just VR and AR, I actually really mean how it's affecting 2D content today and what we're actually doing to make those changes. So what is 5G? Just a quick level set right here. So right now for 4G, for example, about the same 1 square kilometer, you can get about 10,000 people connected on 4G LTE with about 50 to maybe 100 megabytes download speed a second. The initial rollout of 5G, that's same square kilometer, is about 1 million connected devices, starting off at 1.2 gigabytes a second, all the way going up to 10 gigabytes a second. That latency thing that you see there, that's sub-blink latency, so that's very important when we come to immersive, personalized, engaging content. So what does 5G bring to the whole ecosystem here? So obviously you saw the history of what, you know, all of the many Gs before it brought to it. But with 5G, there's a lot more that comes to it. And at its raw level is this kind of concept of 3D formats. This kind of, I nearly treat it like a mineral in terms of how, you know, we treat every content, right? So typically at DreamWorks Animation, it would take about 3 to 5 seconds of animation throughput a week, about $1 million a minute, about 3 to 5 years to create a feature film. And then when I wanted to do a McDonald's commercial, we'd have to create a brand new Shrek. And we wanted to create a, you know, Shrek video game, brand new Shrek. We're basically creating these assets over and over again for different formats. And what I've kind of, or what we've all kind of focused on at RYOT is stripping that away and going back down to a raw element that we can use everywhere. So when you have an asset, we have Shrek, he can be used in VR, he can be used in AR, he can be used in 2D content, he can be distributed across the entire ecosystem. And that's honestly only possible with 5G. The other element of that is like personalization. How do we actually engage with this piece of content? I may view Shrek one way. But then when, based on my habits and my viewing patterns and things like that, Shrek actually can be auto-generated to look more like an anime character. We can capture the same performance, the same energy, the same script, the same story, but he looks very different to me. And that's, again, something that's, leveraging that personalization. So, as I said, the brief history of tech, on the entertainment side is, very arduous man labor, hours and hours of rendering capabilities, millions of machines, millions of dollars just to create what in DreamWorks we call pixel fucking. It's basically you look at a frame for weeks and you go, I don't like that shade of green on that top right corner. He's flickering there. It's just not feasible for like commercial work or anything beyond that. What we've have been seeing though, right, has anyone been familiar with this kind of technology of game engine tech, right? Hands up if you've heard of Unreal game engine. No one? Unity. What's great about this technology is it's real time. Nothing new about game engine tech, but it's real time, right? You're at home, you can play your video games on your iPhone. The quality, what's impressive is the quality of this technology is like vastly improving, like intense. What you're seeing just in kind of the visuals up here is actually all real time rendered of this character, and there's no post. That's huge. I just capture the performance and I get everything else for free, so to speak. That's a really significant thing. However, it's still data intense and everything like that. So I wanted to talk to what 5G allows is really this content at scale. I'll take a perfect example. If everyone has an iPhone, this little capture device on the front of it for facial capture, the newest iPhones, that was the same motion capture technology we used at DreamWorks and many other studios for years. Apple just decided to buy it, put it into iPhones, and suddenly you've democratized animation. So really, that last piece, democratization of animation, is what 5G will truly allow, the same way digital allowed democratization of film. So again, talking a little bit about why does 5G matter, I don't need to explain to this room that we're all on our devices. Obviously, the whole concept of Internet of Things, smart cars, huge amount of connected devices that are about to kind of hit the world all at once, and they're already, the scale has already increased. But for that to work, 5G has to be there. Like I'm not saying it from a Verizon. I'm really just saying it as somebody who's actually playing with the tech and the creative. So what does 5G really bring to you? It brings a whole bunch of what our CEO Hans calls currencies. But if we kind of talk through this at a higher level, high bandwidth, right? That's obviously live streaming. That's obviously interacting with engaged characters. Like imagine, again, if you're at home talking to a motion capture driven Mickey Mouse or whatever, insert whatever character you like there. This low latency also allows for that. The minute there's any lag, you're out of it, right? You're out of that creative experience. So what we're really excited there is how that kind of drives through it. Again, real-time processing. So there's another term you'll hear a lot about with 5G. It's called the MEC. Anyone heard of the MEC? Cool. Mobile Edge Compute. Basically means there's going to be a whole bunch of rendering technology nearby. Instead of one cell tower that's kind of covering that square kilometer, there's going to be a whole bunch of small cells that'll have CPU and GPU. And so you'll be able to do all that game engine technology, all of that on the near cloud. And so what's really powerful and exciting about that is these devices can go back to being dumb devices. This headset can be actually the size of a pair of glasses. We're not rendering, we're not computing on the device. There's a whole bunch of other stuff that I won't even really go into. It's not necessary for you. But what does all this mean? What are we actually doing to use this now? Because 5G there's a long tail to it and rollout. But I'm very excited to play with it. We built a studio in LA that basically leverages 5G technology, and we've been rolling out a series of content around it. So one of the first is this concept of real-time rendering. You see our friend here. This is Hypezilla. I don't know if anyone familiar with the hype culture. It's basically a $35 billion a year industry focused around the sneaker culture. I'm a victim of it. But basically, this character is going to be coming out every week talking to you about what's hype or not. And that's very important because the life cycle of this whole culture is like the sneaker drops, you need to know it in real time. What I kind of want to point out is this is real-time fur, there's real-time cloth sim. This is all captured in real time and then put straight to the device. I can view this in 2D. I can view it in AR. I can see products. He can be, interacting with products in real time. Again, this would have been millions of dollars, honestly, not too long ago, and it is pennies on that right now. And again, real time. You get the actor in, you get out content as quickly as you just do a traditional shoot. So it's really powerful. Another thing, as was mentioned earlier, I directed this project called Earth. I don't know if you're familiar with who's actually seen Earth? Has anyone seen it? Cool. So this wonderful artist by the name of Little Dicky, he's an amazing human being first and foremost, but he's also really, really powerful at getting convincing celebrities to do things for him. And one of the things he convinced 32 people to do was to create this animated version for the millennial generation of, Heal the World, We Are the World. And one of the things when he approached me about this song was I want to get all these artists and I want them to come together and be these animals in this song. And I need to do it as a music video. And again, he came to me actually and was like, well, this would cost about $10 million. There's about 60 characters in here. There's multiple environments. It's just, it's very cost prohibitive for a music video. But we kind of shook our head a little bit and really dug into it. And we actually leveraged 5G technology to, what you're seeing here is motion capture. Obviously, what you saw as well in Hypezilla. So we're just tracking the body and we're tracking the face. We had to do this because we had to iterate on this and create this video in 4 months. So it's if you haven't seen it, every view goes to, the proceeds go to Leonardo DiCaprio's foundation. Leo himself is on the song. He was a huge fan of it, and animation. It's very funny to see Little Dicky and Leo talk. It's a nice personal treat. This last piece, I guess I can show here, is a project that we're working on right now for the Dr. Martin Luther King. We're partnered with Time Magazine and Dr. King's estate on basically bringing back and recreating the March on Washington in VR. To quote Jake Sally, who's on my team, this is a very important piece of content that there's 1,000 ways to do, but there's only one way to do it right. And we really, really want to focus on curating a beautiful, immersive experience that is authentic to that day. So basically, the onboarding for this process is you'll be going and experiencing the March on Washington with the thousands and thousands of people that were there, and then you will end up on the dais with Dr. King himself as he gives that wonderful speech, and then he personally engages with you by making eye contact with you at the end, all in real time, all photoreal quality. We're using Dr. King's the estate. It's their only certified reenactor. He's performed the speech for 20 years. He has every nuance of, he raised his cheek at this level, and all of this. It's very impressive to see. But again, we're using the same. Our partner here is Digital Domain. If anyone's seen the Avengers series, they did Thanos. We need to capture everything from subdermal. If Dr. King is blushing, if there's any eye twitches, all of that subtlety. And to be able to render that in real time is so, so important. So this is just a sample of what we're doing now. I showed you something that's scale with 2D in mobile, with Hypezilla, and that's something, again, right now in 5G. I showed you what we did for a feature film quality music video with Little Dicky, and I can kind of show you on the immersive side with VR headsets. And again, this will have to be wired. One thing I want to point out is, if you just think about the crowd, the thousands of people having to render those, if in real time, it's pretty debilitating, even with today's rendering technology. So it's really something we're pushing. We keep pushing the edge, literally the mobile edge on that side. But honestly, the state of the art, and with our partners at Unreal and Digital Domain in this. So we're really excited. But I kind of want to, leave you with this kind of anecdote of it all. Personally, I have a 5-year-old son at home who I probably shouldn't let play with the amount of technology he plays with. But he today thinks a mobile game is broken when there's no AR, when it's not contextualized, when it's not personalized. When I put him in a Magic Leap headset, which you shouldn't do, it's bad for your kid's eyes. But when I do, and he sets up his room, And then he comes back in and he goes and his dinosaur has already eaten the astronaut and all of that, and it's all saved for him, and he comes back the next day and it's all in there. He doesn't give two shits, honestly, about what's on TV. It's that personalized engagement that he's doing. So we have to have a responsibility and power to make sure that we're serving the right content in the most meaningful way, but that's also entertaining and engaging to the children of today. It's also to the future of it, of what we're hoping for in this 5G world. So know that that's something that I personally will hold dear to my heart as I lead into this technology, as well as what Verizon and RYOT is focusing on as well. So, but yeah, the future of 5G, it's real, it's here, and it's pretty exciting. So thank you very much, everyone. Appreciate it.